Today we watched probably the worst movie that we've watched ever.
What the hell is that?
Well, it ain't Barney the Purple Dinosaur.
Good thing I called for backup.
You go into a movie called The Amazing Bulk, and you're like, okay, this is gonna be a mockbuster of The Incredible Hulk. And I just don't even know where to begin, to be honest.
Wait, don't speak. There could be spies listening. Let's go somewhere private, follow me.
Blockbuster video. Wow, what a difference.
About a scientist. He's trying to create a serum that'll give someone super strength, super speed, all that good stuff. Eventually, he takes it himself and he turns into the Amazing Bulk.
It's a train wreck of a movie, and not necessarily on purpose. And even if it is supposed to be on purpose, it's a train wreck regardless.
Are we gonna trade insults or go bust this cretin?
It's hard to think of the thought process to make it this bad.
Yeah.
And it's hard to think of the thought process to make this into a legitimate movie. I don't understand it.
There's very little that I actually had produced. I'd say maybe about half a dozen shots. I had hired some graphic people to make shots for me. Everything else was, as I described, as kind of like off the shelf.
So you have your cast of characters. You have the scientist who turns into the Bulk, Henry Howard or something like that.
Henry Howard. Who the hell is this?
You have his girlfriend, who is the daughter of the general that he's working for.
Basically Thunderbolt Ross.
Yeah. You have his buddy, who's his scientist partner. You have two cops who are looking for a murderer.
One of which is Lisa.
The other one is a guy who I'm pretty sure they based the Bulk off of.
Yeah, you can see him in one shot and he's like purple. And you're like, wait a second, that is the Bulk.
You son of a bitch! Oh.
And then finally, to round it off, you have Dr. Can't-Love, or Can't-Love, as the joke would tell you, and Lolita.
And their CG dog.
Would you like something big?
Yes.
Would you like something hard?
The director is a fan of Stanley Kubrick, so Lolita and Dr. Strangelove. The scientist, Hank, turns into the Bulk. He kills some people. Ends up running from the cops, killing one of them.
Hey, we can't just skip past the epic run, because the chase scene is probably the highlight of this movie, simply because of how crazy it looks. They start in an alley, and it seems like they're supposed to just be running through an alley, and it cuts to a shipping yard. They're running and shooting, and he's knocking over cars, he's knocking over telephone booths. Midway through the chase, I guess, closer to the end, he does hit a car that lands on Lisa and kills her.
We also introduce a news helicopter pilot and a news cameraman.
They were wonderful.
This could be our big ticket to bigger, better things, you know what I'm saying?
And then eventually the Bulk just rips the helicopter down from the sky. We don't know the size of the Bulk. When he's standing next to someone, seems like he's like 8-10 feet. But yeah, when he's running after a helicopter, he's probably like 20-30 feet.
The madder he gets, the more madder he gets. Huh?
That's why they call him the Bulk, because he's bulking up. This movie has it all.
I think our Henry murdered the mugger. I didn't get this from the peanut butter and jelly sandwich I had for lunch today.
Hank here absolutely loves Hannah. Unfortunately, Hannah's dad is this general. He's the Thunderbolt Ross guy. He does not want his daughter marrying this scientist who can't come up with this serum after 4 years of trying. He wants to propose, he's got the ring ready, and he asked the dad to take her hand, and he's like, nah, no man.
You think I want a deadbeat son-in-law? Negative.
Yeah, there's like no failure of a scientist is gonna marry my daughter. So that gets shut down.
Now for plan B.
He ends up in jail. Eventually, the general comes and says, we need you. You figured it out. You've created the Bulk.
You developed a serum to enhance a human, to make him more than human, superhuman.
So they lock him up in another electrical...
Oh yeah, the moving electrical room?
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah, it was like a vault that looked kind of like a Hadron Collider that was full of electricity. I think that's the best I could describe it to someone.
Yeah, if you're looking for a 3D model of that, you just put that in the search term.
And then click to sort by price, low to high, and buy the first one that comes up.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so meanwhile, Kontlove, he lives in a castle with some weird guards that he's blasted one into a skeleton because he's got a phaser. He can't perform because ED.
Happens to a large majority of men. That's not a joke.
But he loves to shoot missiles at monuments all over the world. We see a montage of just buildings getting blown up, and the Bulk is called upon in order to stop Kontlove for that reason.
I think he's planning on blowing up the moon.
Yeah, he sends like a dog and
he sends a monkey to the moon. I don't know if it was an accident and he was meant to send the bomb, but he sent a monkey instead.
Oh, I said the monkey bomb. Oh.
So it's happened to the best of us. Finally, the Bulk goes there. He kills his henchman. He kills Lolita.
You've grown since the last time we played.
Kills Kontlove. But now here's the twist. No one's gonna see this coming. The general turns on the Bulk.
There is no antidote, and now I shall eliminate you. You bastard!
He wants to kill the Bulk too.
Oh no. But why?
Kontlove was funding the last 2 years of his research because
I was just joking. Nobody gives a shit about this. Can we talk more about lizards on laptops?
So now, climax of the movie. Big chase scene. He's running through the fields. Meets a leprechaun, a lizard, an iguana.
Koala with a kangaroo playing like with boomerangs.
Gravity defying boomerang, yeah. Kids playing soccer.
Pets on swings.
Pets on swings. Children's on teeter-totters, seesaws.
Anything that you could imagine, he runs by.
Eventually, they drop the bomb. They gotta nuke him. That's the only way to get rid of good Bulk.
Luckily, it wasn't the monkey one. Imagine all this and they just drop a monkey bomb on him. It's like, well, that
bomb works, he's dead. But there's another twist.
Oh.
He's not dead.
And you're alive.
So he goes and he finally proposes saying, hey, don't tell him I'm here. And you can't ever tell him I'm alive. But he walks into the room.
And he just waltzes in.
And then they fight.
You! It can't be! You're dead!
The old general and the Bulk. Does he bulk out?
No, for some reason. So like earlier, he bulked out just looking at a very nice picture, I would say, of the general. Here, he's looking at a very mean general, and he doesn't bulk out. So I just don't get this aspect. But anyway, they fight, which basically is just grappling, and then falling. They ended up falling off the balcony, and they both die.
But there's a twist. They bury him for who knows how long. Hannah goes to visit.
Not really good at talking to headstones.
He doesn't talk back because he's dead. But then the cop, the partner of the cop he killed, gets mad and pisses on his grave. But that activates the Bulk, and he's alive.
And he crushes him with those big Hulk hands painted purple. You remember those Hulk hands?
I've got the power of the Hulk in my hands, and I like it!
It's so hard to try and say something positive about this movie.
The best you can give it is Hannah cried on camera. We appreciate that. But like the end result, imagine you show up and you shoot a bunch of stuff and you're like, okay, hey director, how's this gonna turn out?
What's up, Doc?
Trust me, I have the perfect idea for this movie. Everything's gonna be great. Leave it to me. 2 years later, he comes back and presents you with this. This is now your claim to fame. You're trying to be an actor, you're being involved, and this is now on your IMDb, and you're like, oh fuck, we're on a roller coaster like that?
Yeah, it's like, I promise you guys, we bought the best CG effects that we can get. Nobody's gonna notice that we filmed this in 5 days.
What's crazy is that some of this would have taken so long to do. Even though I know he's just like dropping stuff in, the amount of effort it would still take, even though it's this bad, it's just a waste of time. There are certain situations, for example, they're sitting on the subway. Just use a photograph of a subway it's better than the 3D subway. So I don't buy that, oh, budgetary constraints, you know, this is all we had. It was $14,000, like what do you expect from us? I've seen way better for way less.
I'm just upset about all these failed experiments.
No shop talk.
And I don't agree that this was supposed to be a mockbuster in the slightest. Nothing had anything to do with the Hulk aside from a slight piece of the concept and the name.
And I guess another positive is that he completed the project. Like,
we didn't make a movie, so that's something.
Yeah, right.
But even if I had made a movie, I wouldn't want it to be this.
I hate dust. I don't want it building up in my home.
Maybe it didn't go as planned.
That's fair, that's fair.
Right, as he even said, and which is very popular, no one sets out to make a bad movie.
I never set out to purposely make a bad movie. In fact, nobody ever sets their sights on making a bad movie.
We can argue on this one, on whether this was set out to be a bad movie.
I think he did intend to make a somewhat bad movie. I don't think he intended it to be this bad. It's just like a complete failure on nearly every level.
You let dust build up, and before you know it, you've got an army of dust bunnies plotting to take over. Beautiful flowers.
It sucks to say that because we usually try to find like the good in things, but this movie just hits on a different level.
Yeah, it's just so indefensible that this exists as a product, as a piece of art, that you don't think it's like, hey, this is like a learning.
Yeah, this isn't a learning experience. There's nothing to be learned here. It's like, I shot my buddies in front of a green screen. Hey, I've been doing that as well. Check it out.
Let's check it out. Swish. Design. Check
it out! But as much as I'd love to make this kind of movie, the time investment for the return, what's the point?
Yeah, like what do you walk away from this and be like?
It's like, okay, I made a really bad movie. I just need to lean into it and say that it sucks, because if I say the joke, then I'm in on the joke. That's not what happened here. Everything is played too seriously, except for like Randall Malone and that like Lolita.
Yeah.
Everything else is like too serious. There's no jokes in the movie aside from like the background being weird. Like, it's not a spoof. They're not making a parody of The Incredible Hulk.
I didn't mean to kill her or anybody else. It was an accident.
An accident? An accident is wetting your bed.
This is like one of the few times where I'm like lost for words because I can't wrap my head around what's going through the filmmaker's head making this and what it must have been like to just be like, oh fuck, this isn't working out as planned. I need to pivot right now. Just throw a fucking koala here, a lizard here, the monkey there, because I don't have any usable footage now, but I've promised people that I'm making this movie. That's all it seems like to me.
Yeah, especially like the first chase action scene tried something and then he just wrote himself into a corner. He put his characters in a position where it's just like, well, I can't reuse this footage. I need to grab it, anything I can.
When making a low-budget movie, it is always useful to figure out ways to reuse the same footage, since this will save you both time and money.
It's only an hour and 16 minutes. And it feels like it goes on for so long. They just keep using royalty-free music over and over and over again. There's a time where they play 2 full songs while just showing spaceships like fucking itself.
Yeah. With that budget, to do a proof of concept with your idea would have been better.
Right, this is all like pre-viz shit.
Yeah, like do a 20-minute, 10-minute short video being like, hey, I have this idea. We can use green screen. We have all these effects that are publicly available now. Can I put something together?
While researching the film, I discovered numerous online sites where I was able to purchase and download these various images.
You can see this in the storyboards.
Yeah.
He has storyboards available, and you can see it's like, okay, here are like the dummy backgrounds, and here's the dummy person walking around. It's like, oh, they switched out the person, but they forgot to switch out the background.
Yeah.
It just feels really awkward. It feels like it was too much. And I get it, because if you shoot everything on a green screen, yeah, it's gonna be overwhelming as hell.
This is like, you had a project, it's due tomorrow, so you stay up all night and you just put whatever shit on the page you can so you can, you know, turn it in.
No one expected you to inject yourself with a serum? That was idiotic of you. Yeah, I agree.
I don't know what else to say about this. I wouldn't recommend watching this in all honesty, not even for a laugh. We try and be positive about it, but it just felt insulting to be offered this product.
Even for free. Like, it doesn't matter, it's free on Tubi, you can go watch it for free. But like, it's still just a waste of your time.
So I'm gonna give this 0.5 superhero dogs out of 5.
I've talked about this already. I think this just is trash as a whole. I don't know what actually happened here, but it's certainly not what the director backpedaled it to be. Like, it seems like he's like, oh no, I meant it to be, it's funny. It's a joke, guys. I don't agree. So I'm giving it 0.5 exploding rats out of 5.
See you around, kid.